fire, water, wind, earth. When you think of the elements commonly depicted in fiction, you'll probably at least think of these four. Some may also add ice and thunder in there. By the way, people who say ice isn't its own element can go to the bottom of the ocean and prove it to me. Also, shut up. You're probably the kind of person who arrives at a party and everyone just goes quiet. What was I saying? Let's begin with the easiest ones to understand. First is fire, the power of resilience and aggression. Its strengths include a huge potential for mass destruction and extreme heat. Getting near a flame is extremely dangerous. Dangerous in a way that simply touching the ground won't be. It also serves as the opposing force to the cold. A huge strength of most fire powers is that you can summon it in nearly any condition. Doesn't matter where you are, as long as you're not underwater. It's also a common main character element, so if you have fire powers, you might have plot armor too. Next up, water, a calmer element that prefers to stay put, only acting out when pushed by significant outside influences. It can be an oppressive force when it takes the form of a flood that can utterly dismantle other elements like fire and wind, as water is effectively a heavier version of air. However, water is not a given. If you're a water user in a desert or an open field, you may be out of luck. Fun fact, most Discord mods are not familiar with this element because they never shower or drink water. Then there's wind, one of the fastest, most versatile elements. It's easily influenced by other elements. I mean, we literally walk through it and breathe it every day. Wind can easily be overpowered, however, it's tough to predict what wind will do, as it can do so many things so fast, not to mention there's air just about everywhere on the planet. Until August 18th, 2026, but that's whatever, man. Speaking of the planet, next is Earth, the slowest element, the heavy-hitting one that makes use of the ground you walk on. While it's quite easy to react to someone slowly lifting up a chunk of the ground and tossing it at you, it's hard to block such a heavy attack once it's already headed for you. And like wind, just about any place on the planet has some form of stone. It's hard to change the Earth. It's stubborn and solid, just like my bones. Anyway, next is ice, the element that's solid like Earth, but morphable like water. It's considered the opposite of fire, as it's cold and usually stays still. Ice keeps people from being too reckless and fiery, as a mistake on the ice can be fatal. Like some other elements, you usually need to be near water so you can freeze it into ice. Or sometimes ice can just be summoned out of nowhere. Us Canadians have gotten used to it, though. Okay, coming in fast is thunder, the fastest element. It's hard to land a lightning bolt on your target, but sometimes just one strike is enough. It takes a lot of precision to use thunder. You can move incredibly fast, but turning while at lightning speed can be really difficult. Its greatest strength is its ability to end a battle quickly with only a few moves. It is the element of precision. It's also the cowardly idiot element, apparently. So, these are all very good elements. But which one is the strongest? They all have their strengths and weaknesses. When it comes to which one you'd want to use as your elemental powers, it really just depends on what kind of a person you are when it comes to these six. No, this isn't quite satisfactory. There has to be more elements. There has to be a strongest element that definitively overpowers the rest. Yes, I almost forgot metal and nature. Two opposites. Let's see. Metal, it's the element of mechanisms. A more malleable version of Earth, but is precise like thunder. Rarely will you be able to launch a massive barrage of metal at your target. Often, metal users rely on tools with specific uses. Thus, their best action is to plan out attacks. So, when a metal user's plan works, it really works and destroys the target quickly. Likewise, if your plan doesn't work, you get utterly steamrolled. Metal can be found in just about any urban area, but is harder to come by in the wild. The opposite would be nature. Possibly the most versatile element because you have access to all plants. And in most situations, even in a desert or a city, you'll never be completely out of options. Cacti can make the ground dangerous to walk on. Vines can serve as remote control ropes. Big oak trees make really good shields. However, let's not forget that both fire and ice can severely damage most plants. Not to mention, you need some kind of soil for it to be possible to grow these plants in the first place. One small advantage is that it's super effective on Discord mods because they'll be unfamiliar with all plants, especially grass. So, two very strong elements. Metal can be found all over the entire universe, not so much nature, but regardless, each of these eight elements all control about one aspect of the universe's matter. Still, though, we lack a definitive answer to the question at hand. None of these elements are stronger than all the other ones. Perhaps we're thinking too physical. I know, an element that you can't actively see, touch, or even hear. Yet you know it when you see it. Yes, I'm talking about your dad. Oops, I mean psychic or consciousness, which some people mysteriously lack. Anyway, it's the element of thoughts and intentions. When psychic is used on other humans, it can be unstoppable. In fact, mind control can effectively end any battle instantly, as not being able to make decisions removes all of your power. There we have it. The strongest element is psychic. Well, except for one little issue. I'm sorry to inform all you psychic users, but you can't tell a giant boulder not to fall on you. You can't tell a flood to go around you. You can't tell fire to stop burning you. If your enemy is out of your range, but you're in theirs, you're dead. Psychic powers are completely worthless when you're alone. So, another strong element with some glaring weaknesses. Man, that's already 9 elements, and none of them are the strongest, and none of them are capable of finding who asked either. Okay. What about an element that exists both physically and mentally? Haha, that's right. The two elements that are integral to all of existence are light and darkness, or good and evil, creation and destruction, Burger King and Denny's, life and death. Essentially two sides of the same coin. Light is the element of creation and life. Light from the sun is what allowed for life on Earth to exist in the first place. Let's not forget that it's easily, hands down, the fastest element. You cannot argue it's not the fastest because it's literally light. Anyway, light as a metaphysical element is the driving force of good, actions that allow for growth, happiness, and seeking the truth. If you have light powers, you can grant life to anything. You go extremely fast. You essentially have the power of the sun in your palms. Despite being as fast as light, your dad somehow disappeared even faster. Darkness is obviously the complete polar opposite. When in complete darkness, life will cease to exist. It's the necessary force that leads to eventual death in all beings except the Simpsons, apparently. Holy crap, just let it die. Anyway, it's the force that keeps light at work. It's also the element of evil. Acts of violence for purely selfish desires are a result of inner darkness. Darkness is considered evil as it's only a force to destroy. So, in a way, you're a darkness user because you destroyed your dad's bank account when you gave it away to that VTuber who doesn't even know you exist. These two forces of light and dark are equal in power, and it's why one never stays in power forever. Those other 9 elements are dictated by light and darkness. So that's it, a tie. You can only beat light and darkness with each other. So what's the one thing that they both depend on? Ether, also known as energy. Yes, without energy, nothing can be created or destroyed because ether is the essence of change. All 11 of the previously mentioned elements depend on ether for their power, making ether a dominating and sexy waifu. If you somehow have the power to control her, I mean ether, then you can control anything that moves and changes. Therefore, it is the ultimate power. However, ether still obeys something. Definitely not YouTube's profanity filter. No, 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 as powerful as the force that allows change is. It's still bound by simple physics. Ether must abide by the laws of gravity and time. The two elements that stand above ether, what could they possibly be? Time and space. Oh yeah, now we're getting closer to finding your dad. I can practically smell the milk. So they say time is the element that prevents everything from happening all at once. And space is the element that prevents all matter in the universe from being in the same spot. Ether and the other elements move within the confines of time and space, making them a bunch of losers. When you control time, you can simply pause all of reality, speed it up, slow it down, jump back or forward in time. You gain the ability to change seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, and millennia. If you are defeated, you can go back in time and revert the matter back to how it was before. Now, you can go back in time and warn your past self not to say Kitamogus backwards. As space is the distance between things, for example, the distance between you and grass. With the powers of space, you can bring anything anywhere to any place, including yourself. Mass and gravity can be altered and used as your own tools. Simply attempting to approach a space user can be impossible. as they can create an infinite distance between you and them, which is how your dad left you. So finally, we have it. It may be a tie, but time and space are the most powerful elements. The goats, if you will. The other elements are strong, but are bound by the laws of physics. Distance between points and events cannot be avoided. Also, we found your dad. He wants his money back. So time and space, nothing beats them yet. Nothing beats time and space. Nothing. Nothingness beats them. Nothingness is the element that even time and space have to bow down to and bark for. Why is that? Because nothingness at its core is like a blank sheet of paper. It has infinite possibilities. Therefore, nothingness is the element of possibility. So if you contribute nothing to society, then good job. You're a pathetic loser. What? You thought I was going to say nothingness user? Anyway, no elemental powers can defeat you when you can just sit there and say doesn't count. Like that one kid in 3rd grade who during tag always seemed to magically be tagged on just the ends of his shirt sleeves. Fuck you, Justin. I did your mom last night. Oops, that concludes this video. Nothingness is the strongest element.